Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I kind of take a deep dive into a particular product or a particular creator or a particular sort of magic dealer, and I review and go into depth with a particular product. And today I'm going to be looking at this. This is a brand new item by Alakazam Magic. It's called Measure to Measure by Iain Bailey. Now, you might not have heard of Iain Bailey before. He's released a few things before. He's released a download with Penguin. I know he's working with a couple of different companies. And he's got a couple of things coming out with Alakazam. The live launch went up a couple of days ago of this product. And it's now commercially available to buy. And I'm reviewing it. Now, what is Measure to Measure? Well, Measure to Measure is a way of predicting the distance that somebody decides on during the course of a routine using a tape measure. I've got a lot of thoughts on this because I've actually been using a tape measure as an opener in my stand-up shows for years and years and years, as anybody who's watched my 7 best tricks to do as an opener in a stand-up show will realise. So I've got a lot to talk about with this. Now, what I did is I sat down with Iain Bailey and I had a short chat with him about the product. We talked about where it came from, the limitations, the pros, the cons, and his thought process behind creating it. So I'm going to start off by playing that interview for you. It's just a short interview, so you get a kind of an idea of where the creator was coming from with this product. And then we're going to come back to the studio and I'm going to give it a full review and perform it for you. So first of all, let's have a look at that interview with Iain Bailey. So I am here with the one and only Iain Bailey. How you doing, Iain? You okay?
Very, very well, thank you. How are you, Craig?
I'm very good. Thank you for finding the time to come on the channel. I really appreciate it.
Well, no, I appreciate you. Your channel has grown and grown, and I've been binge watching it, and so to be on it myself is an absolute pleasure. So,
well, you know what? It's a real honor to have you on this because I heard about this product a couple of months ago when I was finalizing gossip with Alakazam. Peter and Harry said to me, "We got this thing coming out with a tape measure, and it's killer." And I'm like, that sounds interesting because I've been using a tape measure in my hand for years, and obviously I've now had a chance to see it, and man, this is good. This is so good. So, I mean, really good. So, congratulations, first of all, Iain. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. As soon as I sent the idea to Peter, and then saw the amount of tape measure videos you put up about the 6 best openers, about you doing Magic Live with Joshua J's tape measure trick. I was thinking, right, okay, well, it's got to be good to impress you because you do love that trick, and rightly so. It's good.
No, and I'm gonna give this a proper review after we've had our chat, but I'll say this on record right now in front of you. I've been using Josh's routine as an opener in my show for probably about 15 years.
Right.
And as of today, I'm chucking that in the bin. I'm going to be using yours because it's better for so many different reasons.
Oh, good.
And we'll get into that. But honestly, this is incredible. Now, obviously, this is going out a couple of days after the live launch. So you've had the live launch on Facebook, which has been very successful.
Yeah.
For those people that don't really know what this product is, first of all, I want to talk a little bit about you for a couple of minutes, and then I want to talk all about the product. So you've been a professional magician for a very long time. Is that right? It's not like...
Yeah. So I'm although I look about 20, I'm actually 30. I've been doing magic since I was 12. Performing, I think my first gig was when I was around about 18. So so for quite a while. And it's not my full-time job. So I wanted to do it as a full-time job. And then I thought, I don't know. The thing is, I'm very introverted, right? So I like not having to be always in performance mode, and it was very helpful for me to have another job. So I'm a fully qualified electrician. Been working on industrial sites for years, and then recently started working at a film studio. Well, I say recently, that was for 4 years, and then just recently started working with my dad, who is also an electrician. And so it's kind of father and son working together. But what's been good is that this trick has been performed on site to builders, electricians, plumbers, and it's just such a nice everyday item that I can do personally as an electrician, but also when I'm doing a stand-up show as well. So yeah, it's really good. It fits both of my personalities, my electrical side and my magic side, which is nice.
And when you created it, did you create it with, like, did the fact that you have a background as an electrician kind of influence the creation of this, or was it?
Yeah, it did. So it's become a nickname of mine, which people call me the electrician magician. It's not a great name, but it's stuck. And I've just been during lockdown. I thought I do need to combine those two, because it's so easy to try and be a different performer, and I've loved pickpocketing, and I've wanted to get into that, and and all sorts of. And then I just thought, actually, I just need to brand myself with who I really am, which is a tradesman and magician. So yes, I've been working on a stand-up show, which after lockdown we'll finally be able to go out and do, called Tricks of the Trade. Come on,
Nice.
how good is that?
That's cool.
And then if I ever do a lecture tour, Trade Secrets would be a good name. So
you're thinking ahead.
yeah, that's it. So yeah, so I as I was thinking for that show, yeah, I thought there's something about the design of a tape measure that just is very unique to a lot of other properties. You've got this 8 meters of coil within a small casing, and the way the design works, I was just thinking about it, and actually I think I either came up with the idea moments before falling asleep, or I either woke up with the idea, but I was definitely thinking about it before I went to sleep that night. I thought, you've got to be able to do a trick with a tape measure, and what would that look like? And the Stop Me Here type of presentation is perfect for that, just because the way it's built, you've got 8 meters to choose from.
Absolutely. And I want people to understand that this is not, although you've just launched this is your first product with Alakazam, you have released stuff before. You've had stuff come out with through Penguin in the past, and I know that you've got future products with a variety of different companies, including the big one, Vanishing Ink. So, I mean, you are a creator of magic. This is something that you enjoy doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely love it. Love the kind of problem solving side of it. Like I said about being quite introverted, I don't know, creating magic is just an absolute joy. And I've had a kind of, so Roasted with Penguin was a download. And then I've had a couple of my own ideas that are not always the most commercial. They don't sell particularly well. People wouldn't take them and make hundreds of them. So they've been on my website for years, and I've kind of done a few, been selling a few tricks like that. And there's just nothing, I don't know, the excitement of just getting an order online pop up, parceling it up, sending it off, and it's your trick. Just really gives me a lot of joy. So I do really enjoy that, and I will kind of try and put more and more effort into creating magic, really.
That's fantastic. Now, for people that don't know what this trick's about and haven't seen the trailer, and they don't, they missed the live launch, can you synopsisize this effect for us? So kind of give us a rough idea of what it's all about.
The famous phrase. Synopsisize.
When I left the product, I took that with me, and he's not getting it back.
So it basically is a Stop Me Here trick using a tape measure. That's the main effect. So you have a normal Stanley tape measure. I don't have them, unfortunately. I think you've got the prototype with the release there.
I have the box here.
I can't even grab it. I want to grab it and have a look.
Yeah. The important, do not look at the gimmick until you've watched the thing.
What gimmick?
And there's the...
Nice. Yeah, so people can see that is a normal Stanley tape measure. We can tell you stories of people at Screwfix being incredibly confused by hundreds and hundreds of orders of tape measures. Someone went up to Peter and was saying, "Are you sure you wanted 200 of them?" And he just played with them and said, no, I only ordered 2. And she was just really perplexed and really worried. So Screwfix have thought, what's gone on during lockdown? Why is the sales of tape measures suddenly gone through the roof? But so basically it is the main effect that you'll see on the trailer is just a really easy Stop Me Here with a tape measure. So you have your tape measure, and you can either pull it out by yourself, inch by inch or foot by foot. It doesn't matter what pace you go. or you can have someone else pull the other end of the tape measure all the way across the stage. And wherever the person says stop, you stop the tape measure, you turn over the back of the tape measure, and written on the back of the tape measure, not on the front where the numbers are, but on the back where it's nice and plain, it has "stop me here" with a massive arrow and a line. And what's great about that is the fact that it can be seen from hundreds of chairs back. It packs small, plays big. I hate to say the term, but it really does. It can clip on your belt. It uses no pocket space at all. And it's brilliant. Yeah, it's just a great opener. You could be at any point in your show, but
and that's why I love it so much, Ian, because it is. I mean, I've done Josh's routine for years. I've been aware of Jason Poulter's, but never done it. But I've done Josh's routine for years, and it's great. But you have to rely on the spectator on stage confirming that prediction is there, because they can't really see it. Whilst with your version, you can see that from so far away. Like, it's just so blatant. Stop me here, arrow, boom. That's why I love it. And if you perform on stage, this can take up like an 8-foot stage very, very easily, just with the small tape measure.
Yeah, it's a bright yellow tape measure being pulled right across. It is. It really does extend that, make the show feel a lot bigger, just with such a small prop.
Now, I've got a question for you. A couple of questions, actually. So the first question is, on the tutorial, the tutorial was very heavily based on a stage performance.
Yes.
You talk about throwing a ball out into the audience, getting a member of the audience up to help you. It's all talking about stage. Is this something that a close-up worker could use?
I think a close-up worker could use it. I wouldn't recommend it for strolling. I would probably go with Josh's. If you're going to do a strolling effect, everyone's kind of looking top down on the tape measure, then I think the strength of Joshua's is that, because as you're pulling it out, the revelation is very clear immediately, which is nice.
But Joshua takes quite a while to reset, whilst yours is almost an instant reset.
Yeah. So there is that benefit. I'm sure people will do it close up, and they can do it close up. It's just I designed it purely for a stand-up show, and that doesn't mean a massive, audience. It just means people placed around nicely, where when you turn it over, everyone sees it at the same time. That's really it, as opposed to having to go around and hit someone in the face with the tape measure, because they might be saying stop 6 meters in, and meanwhile the bride's just tripped over the tape measure that's dangling on the floor. And so there's certain practicalities which I think are better when all the attention is on you at the end of a gig or something you want one trick to do. That's my opinion, but I'm sure people will do it close up.
No angle considerations to worry about, really. I mean,
there isn't. No.
The space of extending this tape measure out so that you're not tripping people over, I suppose, is the main.
That's it. Yeah. So the method itself is fine for close up. Yeah. I'm just thinking of the practicalities, really, of just extending a big tape measure out. But I'm sure it'll work.
Well, the other thing that you talk about on the download as well is you talk about how you can do it with the spectator's name, even though you've never met them before. Can you elaborate on that? Because that is genius.
Yeah. So because another thing that I was thinking of with this tape measure was, what would a confabulation routine look like? You've got Darren with Enigma pulling out this kind of scroll showing all the writing, and I thought, well, a tape measure's just like that. It's got this kind of impossibility of you not being able to write anything because it's rolled up, and so you've just got this great routine. So the routine that I describe on the video is, once again, kind of a ball being thrown out, someone chosen at random that there's no way you would have picked that individual. They stand up, and you kind of do a few gags about maybe guessing the amount of hairs on their head, or something, making some prediction, and they don't see it coming, because when they come up on stage, you actually say that you've predicted their exact height. And there could be, at one of my shows, there's at least 5 people. So it could be any of 5. And so they come up, and then what you do is you're pulling out the tape measure rather than across the stage, you're going right next to them. And I think I remember just this image of the Marx Brothers measuring for a coffin of someone years ago. I remember my dad showed me a video and just the kind of imagery of that. So you're pulling this tape measure down right up to the top of their head and showing the line with the arrow. But instead of stop me here, like the other routine, you've actually got their name, Craig, written really clearly on that tape measure. So not only have you predicted that person's height, but you've also predicted the exact person who that ball was going to be thrown out to, or that person was going to choose. And so really what we've done is we've designed it so that it can work in any language. So that it doesn't, you're not just restricted to stop me here in English or whatever. You can do anything, you can write anything. You can choose whatever performance you want to do. And I think Wayne Goodman, Peter's given it to Wayne, and he's already coming up with loads of children's ideas for it. So it really is so, there's so much variety.
That's what I thought about it. It would be a perfect prop for a kid show as well.
Right.
Just because kids are, they watch Bob the Builder from the age of like 2 or 3 or 4. They know what a tape measure is, and I think it'd play really well for a kid show.
Yeah, I think that's the funny thing about tradesmen and and tools is the fact that kids love to go and see men operating diggers and things like that, and there is something almost childlike about someone having a little toolkit, and so the fact that this does, and I think Wayne said a similar thing on the Alakazam show, I think it was last night or a couple of nights ago, it isn't a toy, and it's not a kind of a kid's, so it works well for someone who's 12 years old upwards. It can work younger, but you're not restricted to doing tricks with kind of toys and kind of innocent young things. But this is something that is that kind of middle ground between adult tricks and kids tricks. Is just this kind of interesting prop that everyone can relate to. So
all I can say is that when I got it and I started looking at it and I watched the tutorial, Ryland was there with me, and he's 8. And he saw it and he's like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing trick ever. And he's now stolen it. He's stealing it. He's told me he's stealing it. And he's putting it into his show because you can be Bob the Builder and do magic, and what's not to love. So it's I think it transcends. I think that it, and that's the thing about, okay, I don't want to make this about kid shows, but I think that the best kid shows are the ones where you do magic that will fool the adults as well.
Yeah.
Because ultimately they're the ones that are going to be booking the future parties, not the kids. So if you do something that makes the adults go, wow, but also impresses the kids, then that's a win in my book. So I mean, this is great. It's that old thing, isn't it, which is just cliche to tell, but it packs small, it plays big, it fills the biggest stage, and it's ready to go. It's almost like a 3 or 4 second reset. There's hardly any reset time to it, and and
we give a couple of different skill set handlings for it as well. So there is one, and the thing is, especially on Zoom as well, it's incredibly easy to do on Zoom. And so, it just depends on how you do your show. You can go with an extremely easy handling, or you just go with the easy handling. There's hardly any moves to it, and it's just, it is really, everything is hidden so well in the presentation of it and the movement of it. So, it should appeal to a lot of people.
Fantastic. Now, I'm going to come back to the studio in a minute, and I'm going to give it a full review. But before I do, very briefly, you've got something else later on down the line going on with Alakazam, right? Now, Peter Nardi reached out to me and said, if you interview Iain, I can't say, don't let him say too much, else he'll kill me. So we can't say too much about what you've got coming out, but you have got something else out that is designed for a close-up worker. Would we agree with that? Is that?
I think we can say what the thing is, but not talk about the design so much. I sent Peter a wallet maybe 3 years ago, and I think what happened was the wallet that I had adapted myself to do a card to wallet got sent out to Alakazam. They sent it out to the people making it, and then suddenly it got lost out in another country, and it took ages to get back. And so over that time, the kind of project just got lost. And so when I sent them measure for measure, I was like, we should do this. And how about that wallet? So so Peter's bringing that out, which is brilliant, and yeah, I'm really excited because not only did I get my wallet back so I can start using it again, because I had about a year where I couldn't use it because it was lost somewhere. We can start putting it out to the world again. So it's just really exciting to see that project come back and be released as well. So I'm not sure when that's going to get released. It may be next month or the month after. I don't want to say. It's not even my call, to be honest. It's up to Peter. But so we've got that other project with them as well.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic. Well, we will look out for that. Hopefully I can chat to you about that when that comes out as well, because
nice.
I've seen a couple of the performances of it and it looks super fun. So we'll have to do that in the future.
It was a good laugh because my wife Eliza was there, and the filming during lockdown is so difficult to know, do we get loads of people in to perform or not? And we just randomly last minute dragged Eliza up and did a performance to it. And what was quite impressive about that trailer is that she did just give a genuine reaction, which she doesn't normally do, and I actually did kind of fool her in the trailer, which was nice. So I got to see her react again, which I haven't seen in years.
I was about to say, I know from experience with my wife, she's seen so much magic.
Yeah.
She's seen so much magic. It's virtually especially with Ryland as well now. It's very difficult to impress, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. But I have a feeling I'll be performing this on her in the review show that's coming up soon. Nice. So I'm going to aim to fool her with this and get a good reaction off her. So
excellent. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, we'll try our best. I think if anything's going to fool her, it's this. So look, Iain, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on a wonderful product. And now we're going to head back to the studio and I'm going to give this whole thing a review. So Iain, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you again, my friend.
See you soon.
So there you go, guys. That is Measure to Measure by Iain Bailey. That is Iain talking about the product. I want to say thank you for Iain for doing that interview with me. It was a really nice guy. But now let's talk about the product. So, like I said earlier on, I've been using a tape measure for a very long time. Joshua J's tape measure routine, which Iain referenced when we were doing the interview, this is something that I've done for years. And if you go back into the Magic Stuff playlist, you'll see 7 tricks that you can do as an opener in your stand-up show. And I included the Joshua J trick. And for me, it's a great opener, especially for sort of a smaller audience. Like a parlor show or a smaller cabaret show, because it's a great way to do a routine that's very quick. It's kind of got a mentalism vibe to it. It feels like people have got a free choice, but when you're actually extending a tape measure like that, you really do have, it plays big. When you extend a tape measure across a stage, you can be on the biggest stage in the world and people can see exactly what's going on, right? It makes sense. So I'll tell you right now, this is better than the Joshua J tape measure routine. And this is going to replace the Joshua J tape measure routine for me. Now, like I've said, I've done that routine many, many times. The big advantage to this is it plays even bigger. Because with Josh's routine, what you have to do is you have to rely on the person being on stage with you. So you have the person on stage with you and they're helping you extend the tape measure, and they confirm that there is a mark right next to where they stopped. With this, that's not the case. You can see this from a very long distance, because when you extend this and they say stop, you literally turn around and show the other side of the tape measure, and it's got a big arrow saying stop here, which is incredible. So there's an easy handling and there's a more difficult handling. I'm going to perform the easy handling for you. But really, I say the more difficult handling, it's not really that much difficult. They're very similar in terms of methodology. The only difference is with the difficult routine, or the more difficult routine, you can have the tape measure like this. So you can have it completely closed and you can go into it from a closed position. With the other handling, you want to have the tape measure is going to be open a little bit. Let me do this routine on Sarah. So I'm going to perform it to Sarah. You can have a look at it and see exactly how it plays. And then we'll come back and I'll wrap all this up. Right, Sarah, I've got a tape measure here and I'm going to slowly pull it out like this.
Okay.
And as I do, anytime you want to, anytime at all, you just say stop.
Okay. Stop.
Now, are you sure? You can carry on if you want to. This is
No,
an
that's
8-foot tape measure. Are you sure you've gone just over 2 feet? I'm
Yeah.
going to lock it in that position.
Yeah.
And could I have possibly known where you would have said stop?
No.
It's impossible, right?
Yeah.
If I could prove to you I knew exactly where you would stop, would that be pretty good?
Yeah.
Because I want you to look at the other side of the tape measure. It actually says stop here on the other side of the tape measure. I knew exactly where you would stop. So that's the routine. It plays really well. And like you can see, that visual of when they say stop and you turn it around, I love that. For me, it's got all the power of Josh's routine. But it's just better, in my opinion. It's just better. It's more visual. People can see it from a distance. There's no downside. It's also pretty much an instant reset. One of the downsides of Josh's routine is that there is quite a reset to it, whilst this is almost instantly reset, which is nice. I did speak to Iain, if you remember the interview, I did speak to him about doing this in a close-up gig, and he said, I wouldn't be too sure about doing it in a close-up job. To be honest, I think this would work brilliantly in a close-up gig. I really do. I think this would work absolutely fine. Obviously, if you're in a really crowded room and there's lots of people around you, this is going to be kind of an issue. But I like the idea of doing this in kind of a wedding breakfast type situation. I think this would work really well when you've got like big tables and you've got lots of space in between the tables. I think this would grab people's attention. One of the things that I like doing when I'm doing table magic or banquet magic is I like to be very visible so all the other tables can see what I'm doing, so that it kind of builds anticipation for them wanting me to come over to their table. And I think this would do that. If I kind of slowly edged away from the table and I'm walking across the room and they say stop and I'm showing them this, I think that would be great. I also like the idea of having some sort of coincidence effect and having, I haven't worked it out in my head yet, but maybe like a bride and groom trick, and having the bride say stop, and maybe it was already predicted by the groom. I'm thinking down the line of thumb writers and stuff like that. I don't know. There's lots of options in terms of this. So yeah, this is great. This is superb. I really like it. I don't think, to be honest, I'd do the name thing. I think it's clever. I like the idea. And having spoken to Peter Nardi, I know he absolutely loves this idea of having the name appear. So rather than just saying stop here, it says Sarah stop here. It's a very clever methodology that he uses to get into that situation. And I do like the line that he uses where he gets somebody to come up on stage and he's counting their hair and he's predicted how many hairs they've counted. And in the context of that joke prediction, he's set himself up so he's got the name of somebody who he's never met before. There's no pre-show. I do like that idea, but to be honest, I don't think I'd use it. Because you have to have an envelope and you have to have it all set up and so on and so forth. What I like about this, I like about the fact that I just throw this in my case. I'm good to go. I can put this into any part of my routine that I want to. And then when I've finished, I put it back in the case. I quite like that idea. The other thing is, and I haven't played around with this, but there's a possibility that you might be able to use a borrowed tape measure with this. I don't know whether you'd ever be in a situation where you can borrow a tape measure, but it's just the thought that came to me. There's no reason why this couldn't be engineered to be a borrowed tape measure. Like maybe you've got a big gig and you say to I've been booked by construction companies. Where I live, JCB is just around the corner. And I say just around the corner, it's about half an hour away. And I've been booked to do loads of cabaret shows for JCB. This would be absolutely brilliant for those guys. And I could see them having like a tape measure. So I don't know if it's ever anything that I would do, but it's just something that I think is worth pointing out. So yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, do I like this? Yes, it's no surprise I like this, because anybody who has been a subscriber on this channel for any amount of time will know that I love this as an opener. I think this is the perfect opener for a stand-up show. It's a bit cliched, but it's packed small. It plays big. It really, really does. You throw this in the case and you're good to go. The price is very good. The routine is well constructed. I will absolutely be doing this. Like I said in the interview, you can do this as a kids performer. I think that you know, a kids audience would really get something out of this. But I think it's great for a cabaret show as well. And I think right time, right place. It could work in a close-up show as well. So I'm going to give this 95%. I think this is really good. It's absolutely worth buying. You can get it directly from Alakazam Magic. So you can get it from alakazam.co.uk. It's available to buy now. You just the link will be in the description down below. And yeah, one more time, thank you very much for Iain Bailey for coming on the channel, having a chat with me, talking me through this. Bottom line, guys, if you're looking for something good for your stand-up show, something a little bit different, something that's very quick, pack small, plays big, you can't go wrong with this. Very, very good. And love the packaging as well. Packaging's really good. So there you go. That is Measure to Measure by Iain Bailey and Alakazam Magic. Now it's over to you guys. Let me know what you think in the description down below. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Do you use the Josh J routine? Are you going to be switching over to this? Like I have. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let's get a dialogue going down in the comments. And one more time, guys, thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you want to see more videos like this, please do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, leave a comment down below, and I'm going to be back again tomorrow on Monday with 3 videos. We're going to have a shorts at 2. We're going to have a Magic Live at 6, and at 9 o'clock I'm going to be back with a 5x5. So I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.